Hey everybody, welcome to episode 35 of the Dodgeball Marketing Podcast. I'm Michael, this is Chris.
How you doing, man?
Good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We're going to talk about using videos for better marketing. Video content is one of the biggest things that's kind of come along with the internet since broadband. And one of the ways, Chris, that we talk about it, kind of point number one here, is make your ad landing pages convert better. Can you talk about that for us?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about kind of 5 ways to use video in your marketing. And the first, like Michael said, is to make your landing pages convert better. So this is an interesting stat that we found. This is from iWide Digital, but having a video on your landing page can increase your conversion rate by 80%. Now that's pretty astonishing.
It feels right there.
And it makes sense. You know, there's nothing. Video is a unique format in that you can really engage people, pull them in, and build a relationship and an emotional connection in a short amount of time. And so, usually, when you're building a landing page, you might be driving cold traffic to these people. These are people
this
that
would be a landing page from either paid search or maybe a social media ad campaign.
Yeah, so you're trying to engage people that have never heard from you before. So you really got to build that relationship, and you can just do it so much quicker with video. And for things where you need to show a process or how something works, maybe it's something complicated and you really have to see it unfold, see a transformation happen. There's nothing quite like video to really show that in a short amount of time and in a really compelling way. So I'm not really surprised about that 80% statistic. It's just such a powerful medium to engage people, convince them, and build a relationship with them. So first thing you should look at, anywhere where you have a landing page where you're driving traffic to, especially cold traffic, think about using video on that page to really accelerate that and get a higher conversion rate.
Yeah, so an example of that could be someone coming in on a keyword search. They're not doing a branded search. They don't already know who you are. They're not doing a branded search, coming to your website and finding the phone number they're looking for or submitting a lead. They might be coming in based on a keyword built around the need or the area of product or service that you offer. So that's what you mean by cold, is they're really sort of coming in, not necessarily committed to your brand.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Why don't you take the second one, Michael? Make your homepage convert better with video.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different because like Chris was talking about with ad content, anybody who's coming in and you might on an ad sort of expose them to the brand or how we do it differently. On a homepage, maybe they're there because they know who you are, or maybe they're there because they're evaluating you as an option for what they're doing. And so this could be any number of, all products and services would benefit from this. And so on a homepage, it's a little bit of a challenge on a homepage because you've essentially got to say, hey, here's what you can count on when you use us, in a way that's pretty broad. It's really got to cover all your products and services. And sometimes you can have multiple lines of business, and you really have to kind of boil that up to a simple, clear value proposition that conveys something about your brand. So something that I think about, Chris, when I'm thinking about homepage content is that this is where the production values are maybe going to be dialed up a little bit higher.
It's the first impression.
Yeah, if you're going to do the thing where you have lights and a professional photography and a shoot, and you're getting mic'd up to do really good audio, that's going to be material that would be good enough to go in with a real clear statement of what makes you different in the form of a homepage video.
And the flip side of that, Michael, is that because of that extra production that you probably want to put towards it, it's going to be more expensive and time consuming. But on the flip side, it's going to have a longer shelf life usually because it's about your brand. Like your brand doesn't morph and change like a campaign would.
Right.
Like if you launch a 6-month campaign, like your brand is your brand. Yeah. Hopefully that's a long-term asset you're building. So you might use a homepage video for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think at least 1 to 2 years. I think typically, these things maybe in the last few years been running maybe $5K in Nashville. We're in the Nashville market. It'd be more expensive in LA, New York, Chicago. But yeah, when we're producing a video, if we're going out doing maybe 3 or 4 camera setups and getting some talking heads, mixing that up with some B-roll, doing maybe a voiceover track, you're going to want that to have a shelf life of 12, 24 months as a minimum. And then something else that's sort of a painful reality of doing video for the homepage. There are 2 real hard things to get your head around. Number one is that it still has to be really short. Even though this is the video that has to be sort of the catch-all to cover any and all types of inquiries to your homepage, it doesn't need to be more than 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's really tough. Another thing that's kind of a related topic is nobody cares about the history of the company. You're not making a documentary. Don't start with, well, you got to know all of this stuff because we feel like this is who we are and really what matters. Flip that value proposition upside down. Start with the pain point that the customer has that would get them coming to you. If you are in a really sophisticated industry, like healthcare or technology services, I would recommend that you look at the marketing done by oil change shops. You might learn something. What you'll learn is that they're very good at starting with the pain point the customer has. Is your engine light on? That's a better starting point for this type of content development.
Right.
And it's really hard for people to kind of get out of, well, this is who we are. We want to tell them about the founding. I'd skip all that. You really want to start.
Jiffy Lube doesn't say we've been in business for 15 years. Like, who cares? My engine light's on. That's
if
what I
they
care
do.
about.
It's a really tight tag. It's more like, is your engine light on? Do you need cybersecurity evaluation?
Right.
It would be better to take a Jiffy Lube approach and flip that upside down and start with something that's very centered on the audience's pain point, and then back it out a little bit to say, hey, here's how we handle that differently, and here's how we solve people's problems like yours.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Thing number 3 you can do to use video for better marketing is using YouTube as a search engine. So this one's really cool because YouTube, we've said it before, is the number 2 search engine in the world, and people go to YouTube to get entertained and to learn things. So if you want to see, what you do in YouTube is you think about what problems do people have inside of my industry, who people I serve, and what do they want to learn, and how to kind of entertain them around the subject matter, and then produce video to that end. The same way that you would for written blog content, right? You just turn into video. And I brought up 2 examples here, and you can check these out of people that are doing YouTube in a really cool way. REI, the outdoor store. If you look at their YouTube page, I'm just going to go through. Here's episode 4, setting up the ultimate camp. So this is like a vlog series. They're following people around to like do the ultimate camp setup. And then they've also got content here. They've got trying every type of backpacking stove. So they're reviewing a bunch of backpacking stoves, the probably ones that they sell. What else do we have here? How to pick snowshoes. My winter backpacking essentials. So this is like educational content for people that are interested in outdoors.
Yes, I spend a lot of time with kids on the Appalachian Trail. I've been taking them section hiking. We absorb a ton of material from video, including this REI content.
Home Depot also does a really good job here. Best solar panels for your home. Types of woodworking jigs. What else do we have here? Types of conduit fittings. So anybody that's a DIYer that's going to be has a project in their home, they're going to be going to YouTube to figure out what type of conduit fittings there are, how to change this, how to alter that, all this DIY stuff. And so YouTube or Home Depot is steadily cranking out content to help solve these problems. And not all of these sell a product. They're meeting the home DIYer where they are with the problems that they have. And educating them.
Yep.
So that's 2 really good examples, and it's exactly like think of it like a search, like you would Google. People have problems. How do you use video in a unique way to help them solve that problem? And teaching them how to do something, especially something really visual like a home project, can be really cool. So
and Home Depot, just for anybody who wants to look it up, they're doing a really good job with their branding, their look and feel of those videos. That looks really good.
Yeah. All right, that's it for that one. Michael, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So next up, make your services pages convert better. When you have something that you're doing, and you could apply all this to products as well, but we think about the homepage, maybe we think about blog topics, maybe we think lower down on the sort of content structure hierarchy about social media posts and emails and offsite uses of video. But there's a middle layer there of services pages. This is a really good area for video because a lot of times these are pages people are coming to first on a website. They're coming directly in from a search engine query to a services page. So we do a lot of work in healthcare. We do a lot of work in technology services. We do a lot of work in the construction industry. An example for us would be if a company does both commercial painting and industrial flooring. Industrial flooring is very specific. It's a lot of information about surface prep, repair, coatings, thinking about the joints between segments of concrete, thinking about the paint and other surfaces other materials that are going to be used to coat floors. having an industrial flooring page gives you the real estate to get people in around that topic and to land them and say, here's how we do this category of services in a unique way that's valuable. And this gives you a little bit more real estate because that homepage is so limiting. It's got to be so general that it can tend to be a little bit too general. But the services pages, that's where you really get to connect with the ball and have something that says, hey, for this type of activity, here's how we do this differently. And this is where it's really good to show and to demonstrate. If you can even get people out in the field or even customers to sort of just be on camera and be in a little bit of B-roll, just, walking a project after it's been completed, or, hard hat and clipboard and saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. What it's demonstrating, it's demonstrating you're going to be heard. We're going to focus on the details. We're going to be professional in the way that we do things. There's going to be a process to how we do things. And this can be reinforced graphically and tied into your page content with, here are our steps, 1, 2, 3. This is how we approach these projects. A lot of times when people are on a services page website, or a website with a services page or services pages, they're digging in and they're saying, well, how do these guys work? What do they do? How are they? What is it going to be like if I let them come in here and walk them around and ask them for a quote? People are kind of exposing themselves when they do that. And so what they want to know is what to expect. They're really asking, what should I expect? And so on a website, we'll typically do this with a bar on the homepage, and then we'll often repeat this on services pages and say, 1, 2, 3, these are the steps, this is our process. That's really a way of predicting the future a little bit in the minds of people who want to hire us for these, or hire one of our clients for these services. Anything you can do to dispel mystery and remove anxiety from this is what the experience of working with this is going to be like, you can do better with video. Show, don't tell is really, really helpful in video on services pages.
Yeah, that's perfect. Last one is to make your social media more engaging. We've gone through an absolute metamorphosis in the past 10 years. I remember when Facebook didn't offer video.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
video was a feature that they added. I think
It was
around
probably a big deal when it was added.
I think it was around 10 years ago they added video.
Yeah.
So we've gone from that to like video being a big deal. Like Facebook had to roll it out as a feature because it's such a heavy thing to like manage from a server standpoint. To all the way to what do we have now? We have TikTok, which is video. You can't even do images on TikTok, right? It's all video. So so the cool thing about this is, like I said before, like with everything else we're saying, it's such a good way to endear the audience to yourself and to engage them in a more immersive experience, like we're doing right now. If you're watching on YouTube video, this is a more immersive experience than perhaps just listening to us or just reading a blog article about what we're talking about. Secondly, the platforms are still promoting video as a asset. So if you produce it, especially on LinkedIn, Michael, I've seen the content that you do on LinkedIn.
Listen, it's silly little stuff. It's getting us deals.
But here's
it's really kind of a personal expression in video, but I think it shows a little bit of humanity and a little bit of other personality. Yeah.
And here's the cool thing about that. And when I watch your videos, you're not bringing out a camera with lights and like it's literally just opening up your laptop. So the mind shift that needs to happen with people, like this is like the opposite of the homepage video, right? This is like about volume and about getting content out. So do not be afraid to just pull open your laptop and then just project your expertise into the camera. Don't be afraid to get the iPhone out and like tour the construction site with shaky video if you're a construction company or something. Just get it out there. Don't worry. People don't care. They know it's social media. They know it's just in the moment kind of content. So you don't need to put the bar unnecessarily high and try to jump over it to like plan it out and devote a huge budget to it, could hire in professionals. You don't need to do that for social. You can certainly use some of the content you shoot professionally, roll it into social, but if that's your only thing you're doing, you're going to sell yourself short. There's all kinds of opportunity there for short, raw, in the moment content that you could be making, but you think that you can't because of the impression it might give. I promise you, it's not giving that impression.
Yeah, it sort of gives you another tool in the toolbox in terms of using video more spontaneously, more robustly. I think of it as a pyramid with sort of two big layers. There's the homepage and the services pages, and these are those evergreen, more highly produced, even though you do want as much sort of from the field material as you can get, and you can get really good images on an iPhone. But that's sort of a layer. And then blog post content, things that are supporting blogs plus social media content are really that next layer. A little more authentic, real, a little more ephemeral, less editing.
For proof of what I just said, just download TikTok and see what the top videos are, and you'll see. They're people editing videos straight off their iPhone. No, not high production value. Some of it is. But the vast majority of the stuff that gets traction is very raw, very doable for the average person.
Millions and millions and millions of views for some of the influencers and people who are engaging on that platform, even people we know.
That's right.
Good. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Hit subscribe below.